Hey, how's it going, everybody? So today we got another Mezco 112 Collective Daredevil. Typical box. Same old, same old. So we got the open up. Obviously, he's not in there. Nice artwork on the left side. And then on the back, some shots of the character and what you get. All right, let's get to it. All right, so here we go with Daredevil. We got some dimness going on here, so let's bring it in close. All right, so should I go over what's the first problem with this figure, and then we'll go from there because let's get the bad out of the way. The only issue that I see with this figure is actually with the design of the fabric. This vinyl over the fabric will cause creases at the joints. So like if I bend it right here like this and leave it like that for a while, you're going to get a permanent line, which could over time cause cracking and splitting. I'm not saying that's going to, but I could see that happening right about there. You can see that there's like a line already forming. So if you have this character and you set him up in one of the typical dynamic poses that you'd want to put him in, you might end up with crease lines, you might end up with cracks over time. So you might want to keep that in mind if you do buy this figure. Other than that, he is spectacular. Let's change this camera up for you guys a little bit so we get a full view of him. Bring it back just a little bit. There we go. Now he's in the camera. Okay, so let's go over what's plastic and what's fabric, because Mezco figures like to do that nice blend of plastic and fabric. The head is plastic. The shoulder pads are plastic. Arm gauntlets plastic. Hands plastic. Belt plastic. Holder for the billy club plastic. Knee pads plastic. Elbows plastic, and the feet as well plastic. All the rest is this spandex on the inside, this vinyl leather covering on the outside. You can see the difference, which I think is a nice blend. It does work well for this character. The shoulder pads and all the other pieces to him, I think, are art style. The knee pads, the shoulder pads, it's all due to an art style that they like to do with the Marvel characters to give them a little bit more of a realistic look. Because if not, this guy's going to look very boring just as a plain red jumpsuit, similar to what you would see with the Flash Mezco figure, which is very slave to the comic version, but doesn't translate well with this style of figure. So let's take a look at the face. Fantastic look. I love the look of his cowl and the art style that they did with it, and the sculpting is phenomenal for this Daredevil figure. Alright, so let's get into what else he comes with. Since we're looking at his face, he comes with two other heads. We'll start off with the battle damaged head. Alright, so there is the battle damaged head. And this is an older Mezco figure. I just got in because I was on the wait list. Some bruising, he was beaten up a bit. And it seems like they did this with a couple of their early figures. It doesn't seem like they're doing this as of right now, or it might be as needed as they think that the character gets beaten up a lot. They might want to do that. So there you go. Fantastic work. Whoever does the painting and sculpting for these heads has been pretty spot on with them. Alright, so and then the last head is the unmasked head, which is right here. Matt Murdock. The white eyes, which is kind of creepy. I don't know if I like the completely white eyes. I'm going to get nice zoomed in closely there. It's hard to see the pupils, but they're there. Very faintly, but you can actually see that he does have those white pupils. It's kind of creepy that his eyes are all white like that, but that is a look for it. The head came right back off. I didn't put it on too tightly. Let's get back to the original head, or the cowl head. I wish they would have given you the cowl itself just separate, so if you were to display him with his unmasked, so he could be holding his mask in his hand, which he likes to do. Alright, so let's go over the rest of the accessories. We'll start off with the weapons. He comes with his, get you back there, comes with his regular billy club sticks. Very plain, just a pair of sticks. They do fit into this holster in here on the side, which I haven't done, so we're going to do this on camera together. Let's get this arm up. Let's put the leg down a bit. Maybe we should do these one at a time. What do you think? Alright, there we go. 1. So far, so good. And 2. Perfect. Looks good. Perfect perfect placement. Nice length. Nice pieces sticking out. Doesn't look like it's going to get stuck in there. So that looks good. Alright, so we'll just leave them in there because why pull them back out. So the other billy club that he does come with is the second piece that comes with a wire armature, so that you can take it. It feels very fragile. I'm like a little bit afraid to play with this. It does bend, so that you can have it in his hand, which I will let me put this down for a second, get to the hands, so we can get a little better look at that. So we'll get right back to billy club. So he comes with the fist hands, like all characters should. And then he comes with a variety assortment of hands. I just pulled one of the hands out from each side because I pulled them both out to show you guys. Let's go over them real quick. So we have an open hand, or well, not an open hand, but like more of an open hand. Let me just show these to you guys. Okay, so this is a hand, but the fingers underneath are movable, but the top two are molded together. Yeah, the top two are molded together. So the pointer finger and the thumb are molded together. Next hand we have is this, almost reminds me of a thwip from Spider-Man. So you got that hand as well. Now remember, they do come with both left and right. Here's almost like a peace sign hand. Various hands, I think, just to show different dynamic poses. If you wanted to, this is the splayed hand, if in case he was crouching on top of a rooftop or pressed up against a wall. Spread out hand or splayed hand. Here's your claw hand. Okay, so with all these hands, the only one that you would probably use to throw the billy club or to actually be holding the billy club would be the first one, which has the pointer finger and thumb fused together. So you take that and you slide this in here. A little tight fit, but it does work. You can get it in there. So you can have him with this, and then you can take the wire armature and have it going around the back of him. And it doesn't seem like it's a little dangly, and that's understandable considering how flimsy the wire is. Not flimsy per se as in cheap quality, just as thin as it is, it's not going to be able to hold up the weight of this club. See, it just falls. There's just too much weight on this. Now you could wrap it around something if you had a diode, maybe a pole, like it was ricocheting or wrapping around something, but alone it's going to dangle. So if you have the character up, maybe in its wire armature, not the wire, the plastic armature that he comes with, you can have it up, but just try to have this aiming downward because it's not going to work any other way. So I don't think I would use it. It seems a little fragile to me. I think after a lot of use, keep posing it, I think it's going to break. Not saying it's going to, I just have that feeling. It's one of those things where the wire seems very thin, and the last thing you want to do is break one of these things. I think they should have used maybe a little bit of a thicker gauge, something to make it a little bit lighter, but I'm not sure what they would have done with that. Cool accessory if it worked properly, if you could actually get it so it really is more firm. I don't know if they could have done it without making it look really thick. Alright, so what else did we get with him? We get, I'll show you the armature. I'm going to take it out of the tray, but we get this armature here. So we get the typical tray. Sorry about that, I got a phone call in the middle of my phone, in the middle of the review. Alright, so we have this extra piece here, which I want to show you guys. This piece attaches to the armature, and what it does is it gives you this piece, which is to signify his ability, his sonar ability. So you'd have him here, and then you could put this attached behind him to give him that iconic comic, like he's sensing something effect. So other than that, that's all you get. You get a whole bunch of hands, 2 different heads, the 2 different styles of the billy club, one with the wire, one without. Overall, he is a great character. This is a great representation of the comic book version of Daredevil. I will give it that much. The sculpting is phenomenal. The blend of plastic and cloth does work. I am concerned about, like I said, the joints right here and right here. This is pretty cool. I should point that out, that the knee pads and the elbow pads are both stationary. They don't move, so they're pinned into the body. So you don't have to really worry about that, like moving around or sliding. They actually are, they're attached to, I think those are attached to the body because they're not sliding on the costume. You can't move them back and forth. You can't slide them side to side. So they're attached there, which I think is a neat effect so that you don't get them all over the place. I think if you're a Daredevil fan, you're going to love this figure. You're going to want this figure in your collection. If you aren't, then I could see you easily passing on him. Maybe waiting. Mezco is supposed to be doing the Netflix version, which I think a lot of people will want to jump on in comparison because it's a little bit more realistic. And maybe the blend of plastic will be a little bit more heavier. It'll have more plastic pieces in the chest and in the legs, due to it being more sectional, his armor. This one is very flat, very costumey, very spandexy, which works. I do like the blend. Maybe if they would have stopped the blend here, I don't know if it would have worked well, if it would have been t-shirt up to the bicep and made the gauntlets themselves, the forearms, all this darker red without the vinyl, so that when it gets to the joints, it doesn't make that break. That's the issue that I see, is that the vinyl covering is going to rip. But overall, I think if you were to get this figure, you'd be happy with him, especially if you are a big fan of Daredevil as in the comics. He wasn't one of my favorite characters, so I am a little bit, I guess, biased, or maybe unbiased, as it were. So yeah, there you go. That's my heater turning on because it's cold outside. The belt is cool. I should point that out. There's nice styling detail in the belt and in the pouches. Overall, the style and the detail is beautiful on this figure. Like, absolutely, positively beautiful. So I would recommend him, especially if this is one that you want. If you want a whole bunch of Marvel comic Mezco figures, this is the one to go for this Daredevil. If you have the patience, wait for the Netflix one, because I think that one's going to be a lot better. I think that this one was done over a year ago, from 2016, and Mezco has really stepped up their game since then. I'm not saying that this is a bad figure. I think that this was closer towards the closer in the back, I guess. I would say closer to the end of 2016. So they can see that there's some detail and some work, and I just think he's great. The more I play with him, the more I like him. I'm just more concerned about the costume itself causing issues over the long run. The more you play with it, the more you pose it and leave it in a certain position. I do kind of like that the costume does move with him, as in, like, you get the folds, you get the bends. It's not like skin tight, so you get like a little bit more, I guess what would be like a more natural look to him, that he's actually a person. Like, it's when you have a toy that's like straight up plastic, you don't get these nice folds and bends in the costume. You don't get to see that motion, and that really works well for Mezco when they do this kind of stuff, because you can see that there's a person underneath the costume. It's not like, oh, this is all plastic and this is all plastic and there's plastic abs and all that kind of stuff. It looks more like a toy. This looks like it could have been like a miniature person. The mini Hot Toys, as it were, the 112 Hot Toys, I like to think of them as. Cheaper price, smaller scale, but you get that nice fluid feel that there's something cool going on here. He is one of these characters where you like to play with him a lot, because he is one of those guys that you see him in a lot of different poses, that he's acrobatic, so you want to make him into those fun flipping, diving, throwing positions. So there you go, guys. I've been rambling on for the past 5 minutes, but definitely worth it if you love Daredevil. If you're really loving these Mezco figures, you know what you're getting into. Overall, fantastic. If you can't get on the wait list, I think that's still there. I don't know. It took a while for my wait list to get through, so patience. If not, wait for the Netflix one. So there you go, guys. I'm out. See ya.